Welcome back, Junkies. We are here once again for another episode of the Pop Culture Junkie podcast. I'm here with the lovely, the beautiful
Shauna Trinidad.
Ugh, I love it when she says it like that.
What's your name, though?
I'm Olivia Rhodey, and I'm...
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. You know that, like, not too much of my girl sound where she's like, yeah.
I don't, but I like
that's how it felt in that moment.
Yeah. I love your new hair, by the way.
Thank you. If you are on YouTube watching this, I got a haircut.
Yeah,
got
Olivia's bangs.
I have bangs, but don't worry. Everything is A-okay in my life.
Are you going through any mental breakdowns recently?
For once, I think not.
And you didn't cut them yourself. You had them professionally done.
Yes.
So I think that points to mental health.
No. After 7th grade, when I cut my own bangs, like your bangs.
Oh, no.
Not the cut for me. We'll say that. I did it myself. We learned a lot of lessons, and that was...
some laughs along the way.
You know, professionals are professionals for a very good reason.
I cut my own bangs, but I've also had bangs for like a solid 35 years. Okay. So I got it down. Yeah. I got it down.
Now it's just like... And keeping it where it is.
Literally, it's just a straight line across my forehead. Yeah, no one's going to mess that up.
Well, hopefully one day, like, you don't, like, you know, get, like, shaky. Because then,
oh, God,
you know,
I've cut them too short before, and then I just go, oh, God, I really don't care anymore.
The micro bang.
I don't care.
The micro bangs are working in your favor, though. It's a big trend right now.
That is true. I mean, there would be a point in my life where that would have made me break into tears. And I just look at myself in the mirror and I go, add it to the list. It's fine. I don't care.
Aging is beautiful. And you should be so grateful for it.
Literally,
every day.
I just don't give a fuck. I don't care.
She says, as she's like saying the most cruel thing to herself in the world. I love it. It's great.
I am very confident. I think I'm beautiful.
Yes.
But if I ever have a massive zit or cut my bangs too short, I go, What's the worst that could happen? I don't care.
Who am I here to impress?
Literally.
I love that.
I work from home. My husband thinks I'm cute. Olivia thinks I'm cute. I don't care.
That's very true. I think you are all of the above. And, you know, in last week's episode, we talked briefly about M. Night Shyamalan. And I really cannot say his last name, so I do just call him that.
Shyamalan.
And his kind of career-defining obsession with plot twists.
The Shyamalan twist?
Yeah, the Shyamalan twist. And that kind of left us, as we were leaving that episode, wondering what makes a good plot twist? Mm-hmm. Like, what makes or breaks a plot twist? And Shauna, I'm curious, like, in your mind, what makes a good plot twist?
Okay, so I think a good plot twist is twofold. A legitimate twist where at the end you don't see it coming and it leaves your jaw open, you're shocked. But at the same point, it has to be a twist that makes sense in the film and doesn't change the tone of the movie.
Okay.
So we'll have some examples of like good plot twists and bad plot twists throughout mostly movies, but some TV shows too. And I think that if you're watching one movie and all of a sudden a twist comes in, it kind of changes the entire plot, or it feels like something was tacked on in a rush, then I think it's a bad twist.
Like a twist for a twist's sake.
Exactly. Like you can tell that the writer wasn't like, okay, and then this happens, it's going to be great, it's going to be crazy. They were just like, yeah, how do we end it? I don't know, do something weird.
Like kind of like Pretty Little Liars. Did you watch that show?
I did not, but okay, who was the writer the whole time? Oh, no, I'm thinking of Gossip Girl.
Oh.
I was like,
same network. You were close.
Who is there, like, a plot master in Pretty Little Liars, though? Okay. Or someone who's kind of running the behind.
So
I'm thinking, like, who is Gossip Girl?
There are like millions of YouTube video essays breaking this down for you, but essentially, like, Pretty Little Liars.
Oh, we're going to be talking about spoilers for popular media, by the way.
Yeah.
We'll just throw that out there.
Yeah.
A lot of it'll be things that have come out.
That are very old.
That are older, so we're not going to say any twists of movies that have come out like 2 weeks ago and like just fuck it up for everyone.
Yeah.
So just disclaimer.
Yes. And so Pretty Little Liars sums up these 4 girls who knew this teenager who ends up dead. Okay. Right? And all of a sudden they start getting anonymous texts from this person named A.
Okay.
And so the through line of the show is who is A. And
okay, I knew there was like a mysterious character, like who is Gossip Girl, who is A.
Yes, yeah, that I guess that through line makes sense and how you saw them together. I forgive you now.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And so there's like a million A's. They were just going with it. And they did like one of those classic tropes, which I kind of think like Game of Thrones writers fell victim to, is they wanted to go for the most shocking thing, but
not necessarily the thing that made the most sense.
Ultimately created like a plot hole or went against something that is like canon.
Okay,
I
got you. Yeah.
That's kind of the way that I look at it.
I agree. It's like if there's something that has been building up for years, especially it's hard for a twist in a TV show sometimes because it's like audiences have been with these characters for so many years that you want a satisfying conclusion and you want a good ending for these characters that you've gotten to know for years.
Yeah.
Whereas a movie, you get to know some characters for 2 hours?
Yeah.
And then if there's a twist, you just leave the theater and you're like, oh shit, that was sick.
Yeah.
But if it's like, spoiler, in How I Met Your Mother, Ted's wife is dead the whole time and he's telling his kids the story of how he met their dead mom. That sucked.
Yeah.
That was a bad twist.
Yeah.
Because for years, like, we've established that Robin and Ted are obviously into each other, but they're probably not the best couple. She marries Barney in, like, the second to last episode of the entire series. And the finale just undoes all of that. And then it's like, oh, your mom's dead. I'm going to go with Aunt Robin now. And fans were pissed, rightfully so.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was never a How I Met Your Mother guy.
Oh, man, I love that show.
I think what's the actor's name? The main guy in it? Ted?
The guy who plays Ted Mosby.
Yeah.
I don't remember the actor's name. I do like him as an actor.
Really punchable face. really, really punchable face.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Ted Mosby's just kind of a punchable character.
Yeah.
In hindsight, so is Barney Stinson. It's like at the time we all thought he was so funny, and now you look back and you're like, wow, this guy's a borderline fucking rapist.
Yeah, you're like,
this guy's creepy as hell.
Didn't age too well.
This didn't age well in the slightest.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a terrible twist. And it's like Dexter becomes a lumberjack in the end. Everyone was pissed. It's like Danny, I don't know if those were twists, but it's things that were kind of like disappointing endings. I think like, I don't know. Let's talk a good movie twist. What do you think makes a good twist? And like what movies do you think have great plot twists?
Yeah, so I think a lot of good twists in my mind are things that you saw like very faint or little cues that they were like ultimately the main twist, or you could see it within the story.
Like you didn't catch it upon your first viewing, but then after the twist comes, you go, oh my God, I want to watch that again so I can catch all the little Easter eggs.
Yeah, where you're like, oh, I should have seen it. I also really love a twist where you initially suspect someone, but then you kind of clear them out of the story, but then they end up being really the bad guy.
And you're like, I should have trusted my gut.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So I think a lot of the time you give the audience the opportunity to figure it out ahead of time, but it's still unique enough or not so straightforward that like everybody guesses it within the first and I think the sweet spot is like if people start getting it like 1 to 5 minutes before, you're like, oh, okay, that's like the right area.
I agree. It's like when people start figuring out, you put on your list of bad twists, Malignant, which I liked, but I figured that out. I was like, it's a parasitic twin. It's a parasitic twin. My husband's like, the fuck is a parasitic twin?
But you said you figured that out in the first like 2 seconds of the movie.
But I also have talked about this on the podcast that I have this weird obsession with parasitic twins. If anyone has a parasitic twin, please tell me all about it. I want to know. I want to meet your parasitic twin.
It is weird. I don't know.
I liked that movie, but the twist was a little jarring.
A parasitic twin isn't weird. Your obsession with it is a little weird.
I know.
But no, I put that as a bad twist. But I also really like a plot twist with an unreliable narrator.
Ooh.
And so like a lot of those stories have to occur within the first person.
Yeah.
So like a really great example of that is going to be like a Fight Club.
Oh, yeah.
Or like a Memento. And within Fight Club, like you are seeing it through his eyes, and he's never named. You just know Brad Pitt, who is Tyler Durden, but you never know Edward Norton's character name.
I didn't get that one spoiled for me, and I didn't see it until years after it came out, and I was shook. I was like,
I love Chuck Palahniuk.
It's great.
And I actually have a signed book of his. It's not Fight Club,
cool.
but so I really like a twist like that. I think where it's first person. Shutter Island, I guess, is another
that one shook me too.
Where I guess it doesn't really fall into the first person narrative, but you are kind of bought. Would you agree it goes into first person?
I think, you are watching this movie and you come to trust I don't remember Leonardo DiCaprio's character's name, but you're seeing the movie through his eyes. You're trusting him. You're like, oh, he's our main character. Yeah. And then at the end, you're like, oh.
He's been crazy this whole time. Yeah.
And it's one of those things where at the end, you're like, okay, now I need to rewatch that movie to see if there's any little hints throughout. It's like the most famous twist of all time probably is Sixth Sense, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, upon rewatch, you get to see those little hints of like, no one actually talks to Bruce Willis, right?
Yeah.
Like everyone kind of talks around him, but you don't realize that on your first watch.
Yeah.
And then you have to rewatch it and be like, okay, I got this.
Yeah, it is like the part of a good twist is you kind of immediately want to rewatch the movie.
Yeah.
I think that is a great way to be like, oh, what did that mean? Like, I've definitely gone and like, so one movie that I think like kind of tried to have all these twists and turns, but ultimately like left the audience so confused that it didn't land, because you do risk running into that territory, is Mother with Jennifer Lawrence.
I've never seen it. I've read the plot synopsis.
Yeah, even the plot synopsis I'm still confused on. Like, what do you mean? And so,
what do you mean?
What do you mean? Yeah, what do you mean? And so ultimately, I think it goes back to that argument of, are you just trying to twist? Or is it like ultimately kind of serving the
overall story?
Yeah.
I think one of my least favorite twists, and we talked about this earlier, is this movie Hancock with Will Smith. Where I remember the first half of that movie thinking it was so cool. It's this guy who has superpowers, but he's just kind of like, he's got a drinking problem. He doesn't really care. He's like, I don't want to be a superhero. I just happen to have superpowers. So he moves in with Jason Bateman and his wife, who is Charlize Theron. And I guess because he saved Jason Bateman from an accident or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Come to find out, oh, what a twist. Charlize Theron's a superhero too. And also, it's Hancock's wife from his past life. And it feels like they put two different movie scripts and just smushed them together.
I've seen that movie, but I remember none of it. So.
I remember watching this movie in the beginning and being like, this is a great movie. And then halfway through, you're like, wait, I'm not enjoying this anymore. It's like a weird rom-com all of a sudden. And like, I don't know, Jason Bateman's kind of cucked. Like, it's just, Jason. I had a sex dream about Jason Bateman like a couple days ago. Oh my God, I totally forgot about it. Yeah, he was great.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he wasn't as good as Seth Meyers, but he was good.
Okay. Well, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
okay. But yeah,
I could see how that would make sense in your
Seth Meyers being a good lover.
Sex dreams. Yeah.
He's good. Yeah. Very attentive.
Yeah.
Anyway, watch the first half of Hancock and then just turn it off and don't watch it.
Just do not continue. Do you have a timestamp you can give the listeners?
You know what? I'll post it on social media when the episode drops, because there's a very hardcore point where you're like, oh, now this movie sucks. And it's when the twist happens.
Oh, okay. So the twist like purely ruins the movie, in your mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I do have my favorite twist in cinematic history.
Which is?
The Mist.
Okay.
It's a movie based on a Stephen King novel.
Yeah.
Horror movie. This mist attacks a town, the world, whatever, and all these people are hiding in the grocery store. And if you go out into the mist, you're surely going to die because there's creatures in the mist. Okay, big spoiler for The Mist. It came out so long ago. 3, 2, 1, here we go. They get in a car at the end, the main character and his like surviving comrades or whatever, and the car runs out of gas. And at this point, they're like, well, we're screwed and we don't have any food. He has a gun with like 4 bullets in it. He shoots everyone in the car dead, including his own son. And he doesn't have enough bullets to kill himself. So he's just screaming in agony at what he had just done. that very moment, the army rolls in. The
yeah.
army rolls in and is like ready to save everyone. I remember
Yeah.
watching that and just being like, oh my God, you sit with that twist for so long and you're just like, Jesus Christ, he has to live his whole life now, like going through this. Best twist I've seen, I think.
Yeah. So the last time I watched The Mist, I was in Malibu, and we were staying at this Airbnb, and it was a former like Backstreet Boy like owner of the house. So we're like really high in these Malibu mountains. And
were you really high in the
yeah,
Malibu mountains?
Yeah, also yes.
Okay.
And so we are up there, and there's a lot of mist in Malibu, and I was like, you know what we should do? We should watch The Mist.
Oh my God.
And everyone was like, why would we do that? And I sat there by myself and watched The Mist.
I would have watched it with you. I love that movie. I'll watch that movie by myself.
Yeah.
Last time I watched it was by myself.
It was great.
It's such a good movie.
It was great. So,
I remember watching Cabin in the Woods in a cabin in the woods with my friends because we were like, we should watch this movie.
Yeah.
Which is also a movie that has a pretty good twist now that I think of it.
It does have a great twist.
That is a great movie with a great twist.
Yeah, that is a good one. I love to show Cabin in the Woods to people who are like, oh, I hate horror, or they don't have like a respect for horror movies.
Especially camp horror.
Yeah, because it's funny. It really like it knows what it's doing, and it's kind of subverting.
It's clever as fuck. Traditional
tropes and turning them upside down and doing all those things.
And that's a good twist when it like fucks with like what you expect a horror movie to be. It's like we think that this Cabin in the Woods is going to be an Evil Dead situation where there's zombies and like, but no, it's
a mega corporation preventing you all from dying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they're all running bets about if the mermaid man is going to come this time. Like, I love that movie.
Yeah. I really, really like that. So pro tip, if you have someone in your life who you're a horror lover and they do not love it, like your significant other or partner, get them to watch that. It's a really good entryway
to horror.
Into, hey, some can be good.
Mm-hmm.
And like for me, I like ghosts. I like supernatural horror.
Me too.
I'm not a big gruesome, like...
That's totally me. If it's torture porn...
Like Saw 1 is a little too much for me.
But the twist at the end...
It is great.
Incredible.
I do think that I've kept up with the story of Saw. I don't really like to watch it because it's so gratuitous.
Me neither. I can't do that. I can't do that kind of horror because it's just like... It seems so over the top and just like new ways to watch bodies split apart, and I'm not about that. If it's exorcisms and ghosts and demons, hell yeah, let's go. But the first Saw is a little more psychological than like the subsequent ones, where there's actually like a mindfuck plot going on, and the twist at the end was great.
So I think it's called CK's World. He does like timeline breakdowns. He does like full horror story, like timelines and breakdowns. So I watched his, and it's the entire history of Saw.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
And so of like Jigsaw and how he became. So like I didn't have to watch the gross parts of it, but the story behind it, and like they do have some really good plot twists of like the people who ultimately go through this torture, like join him.
Why were they chosen to be part of the game in the first place? Yeah.
And then as the Saws go on, they start to join in and give people these choices. Yeah. It has to contribute to that larger story and make sense for the character. Like, why are they doing this?
Especially if it's going to be like a film franchise. Like, that brings me to another one of the greatest plot twists of all time. And Olivia and I had to confirm that this was even a plot twist. So in Star Wars, the original trilogy, when Luke finds out that Vader is his father, to us, I was born in 89. You were what, 92?
93.
93, Jesus Christ. So we watched Star Wars when it had already been out for a long time, for the first time. And so to me, I Am Your Father was not a twist because it was so embedded in pop culture
vernacular
that I called my dad, who went to the Star Wars movies and saw them in theater, and said he stood in line for hours. And he said that everyone was shook when that line was dropped. No, I am your father. You know it to be true. He said
audible gasps.
Everyone was gasping and just shook. Yeah. And I was like, That's a great plot twist.
Yeah. And it's sometimes that's the unfortunate part of like something being iconic and like it can spoil it for other generations.
Yeah, like Sixth Sense was hella spoiled for me.
Yeah.
But like to this point, I still haven't seen that movie. I'll be honest, I've never seen it.
It's worth it.
I think it probably is too.
It's
But I was
worth
so
it.
salty when my friend spoiled it for me at we were swimming at my house like in the 4th grade or something stupid. She's like, I saw the craziest movie and Bruce Willis was dead the whole time.
That's like the kid who wants to ruin Santa Claus for you.
Oh my God.
I think
my
it
brother.
had like, yeah.
Everyone's older brothers, older siblings, like, yeah, well, Santa's not real and just ruins your entire Christmas.
See, my brother took it the other way and would give me coal and be like, see, Santa hates you.
Santa thinks you're so bad. Olivia's like volunteering at soup kitchens in like the 4th grade. She's like, this is going to be my year.
I mean,
Santa's finally going to like me.
If I'm going to put it right, like he had a better long-term strategy to really add to the torment, you know? Like,
you know, that's a life twist.
Yeah.
When we all found out Santa, the Tooth Bunny, Jesus, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. The Tooth Bunny. You didn't learn about the Tooth Bunny when you were little?
Is that the movie Teeth?
That's a great movie. That's a great fucking movie.
That is a good one.
Oh, man. We're going to talk about feminist film in some future episode. Whew.
Yeah. That we talked about it in Good for Her.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. I think it's a tired trope now. Like we mentioned The Sixth Sense.
The dead the whole time trope.
Yeah, the dead the entire time, or someone's no one's around.
It was all a dream.
Yeah,
we hallucinated this whole thing. Like even in Twilight, when they have that whole segment in the final movie where like everyone dies, and then it's like, oh no, this was just Alice's vision.
Yeah,
like I mean, it's an interesting segment, but like I don't know, it was all a dream, and they were dead the whole time.
Yeah,
it's kind of overdone.
I hate that it was all a dream.
Yeah.
One movie that I do really like with that they were dead the whole time though is The Others.
I've never seen The Others.
Okay, well I'm not going to spoil it then.
Oh my God, yeah, don't spoil it. If it's for me, we can't spoil it. We can spoil movies for our audience, but not for each other.
No, it's good.
But it's got a good twist. It's Nicole Kidman, right?
Yes. Okay. The commercials for that, I remember being younger, and there's like this little girl under this like lace like tablecloth, and she's like singing a little creepy lullaby.
Nope.
And it to this day sticks with me.
Nope.
And the twist in the end is very, very good.
Don't tell me.
And so,
but I'm going to watch that. That's going to be my Thursday movie. When I always watch movies by myself on Thursday nights, that'll be mine this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me, squirrel, but still, I'm sure I've told this story before. I was out walking Buffy and taking her to go pee. It was like starting to storm and like rain a little bit, and it's getting kind of windy and dark. And I see this little kid standing in the distance, like in my apartment complex grass. And he's just standing there like a creepy fucking horror movie kid, and looks at me and goes, "You're going to die tonight."
Nope.
Did I? I've never told you that. Oh my God. I just went, okay. I like, rushed back inside with Buffy. And Andrew's like, "Are you okay?" I was like, can we like make sure all the doors are locked?
Little kids like that. Little kid horror freaks me out.
Nope.
Little kid horror freaks me out. Like,
nope.
The Orphan is a really good twist.
I know that
as
twist.
well.
I've never seen the movie, but I just know the twist through pop culture. But
yeah,
like,
The Orphan has a great twist. But anything with like a little kid, like Damien.
It's all for you, Damien.
Yeah, you know, like I always think those are like the iconic ones that
little
really
kids are like really old people.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, okay, I'm going to put Orphan on my list too.
The second Orphan is very good as well.
I'm surprised
Orphan 2 has a great plot twist as well.
Another twist?
Yeah.
Shit, a twist within a twist.
A twist within a twist.
What a twist.
Which I guess we can't talk about the plot twist of a movie without mentioning Inception.
Oh my gosh, Inception is so good. With such a good twist.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about Inception.
Like a twist within a twist within a twist.
Yes, I love that.
And while when you would explain kind of the levels and the way of it, I think he did a great job on it, where it just like created like almost like a tornado of how do you know what exists?
Exactly.
And like you still don't even know
with the top at the end. I love those movies too, where the person that you see them with, you go get like a drink or a cup of coffee right after the movie, and you both just sit there and like talk about it and discuss it, and you're like, wait a minute. Did this mean this? And the other person's like, no, didn't you notice this? Like, I love those kinds of movies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just break it all down. That reminded me of another great twist that I liked, which is, it did fall into the they're dead the whole time trope, but Gravity with Sandra Bullock and George Clooney.
I don't know if I've seen it.
Such a good movie.
For those who cannot hear our producer, she said there's a twist.
There's a twist in that movie? Okay, so Gravity, they're in space, like Sandra Bullock and George Clooney are these two astronauts. And Sandra Bullock is, do you mind if I spoil this for you? I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. I think I actually have seen this now that you're saying the space part. She goes
out to like fix something on the ship and her cord becomes attached or something, and she's essentially like floating through space, right?
Yes, or I do remember this movie now.
George Clooney's dead the whole time. She's just like hallucinating, talking to him.
Oh, wow.
I was shook. Apparently our producer wasn't shook.
That sounds like a very distant memory to me, but
maybe you were...
I did tell you earlier that, like, when people say, like, oh, I wish I could reread that book again or, like, remember this piece of media, I'm like, give it a couple of years and I will forget. Like,
it's all gone. It's just gone.
It's going to be gone. Like, I don't know.
Oh, my God. It also reminds me of, like, movies with good twists that are based on books. So I mentioned earlier that one of my old friends from high school spoiled for everyone that Snape killed Dumbledore at the movie premiere for... God, I guess Half-Blood Prince. Is that the one where he kills Dumbledore? And everyone who was in the line who had read the book was like, what a dick. We all know that. But like, there's people who haven't read all the books who still like the movies. And they're just like, what the fuck? Like,
they're a real Slytherin, that group of them.
I'm a Slytherin.
Well,
excuse you.
We're
not all bad. Fuck J.K. Rowling.
Yeah,
but I'm a Slytherin.
Yeah.
But that was a great twist, I think. And then you have to wait for the next book to come out to find out, okay, is Snape good or Snape bad? And I remember they were like selling merch and you could choose. Like one was like Snape is a good guy and the other was like Snape is a bad guy and you had to wait to find out. But
yeah,
good book twist.
You want to know what the real worst twist of them all is?
I sure do.
J.K. Rowling becoming a TERF.
Becoming a TERF? God, what a twist. God, she could have had it all, but she blew it, man.
Yeah.
She fucking blew it.
Yeah.
There's also another twist. I'm actually Nicole. Hey.
Is that your Nicole impression?
Hey.
You Scooby-Dooed me this entire time.
Scooby-Dooed you. Would have gotten away with it too.
You legally blonde me and then you Scooby-Dooed me. Man.
What a twist.
If you don't remember.
We love you, Nicole. We miss you.
Yeah, we do. If you don't remember the Legally Blonde is you told me to show up in a costume and no one else came in a costume.
Okay,
so.
To be fair, I never said come in a costume. I said, and I quote, wear your best spooky swimwear.
You said it was a Halloween swim party.
Spooky swimwear.
It was a Halloween swim party.
I loved your costume, and this Halloween we're going to have great costumes.
Yes.
No matter what they are.
I agree.
The real twist is the memories we made along the way.
While we could talk on and on about our favorite plot twists, I do want to get into a little bit of some current pop culture. So what have you been obsessed with this week?
I want to talk about a movie that I watched very recently that I really liked.
Okay.
It's called The Green Knight. It came out in 2021. It stars Dev Patel.
Love him.
Who I love. What a good-looking man.
He really is.
A great actor. It's a A24 pick, so you know it's going to be amazing.
Immediately good.
It's immediately going to be good. But it's really like, it's got that A24 art style where it's kind of like ominous and dark, but it's not a horror movie. It's very suspenseful, but it's based on an English folklore where it's medieval knights. And Dev's character, Sir Gawain, wants to be a knight, but he's not very knightly.
Okay.
He spends most of his time having sex with his kind of brothel employed lover.
So
and
he's
he
a
drinks
real,
a lot.
Dance of Dragons, why am I saying?
Yeah, but he doesn't seem like
a crispy Cole.
He's a little crispy Cole. Okay. He doesn't seem like a bad guy. He's just kind of like, yeah, I wish I was a knight, but at the same time, I like drinking and smoking and humping.
Yeah.
And I liking it.
Yeah.
And then one year, Christmas, he is also the king's nephew. This knight comes in, the Green Knight, who seems to kind of be like made of trees and leaves. He's one with nature and offers up a game to everybody there. And if anyone is brave enough to face him, they will get honor and riches. I will not spoil it.
Yeah.
And of course, Sir Gawain is like, I'll do it. Yeah, because he wants to kind of show off how cool he is and brave he is. Thus setting forth a wonderful movie with just like action and twists, honestly.
And a twist.
There's twists throughout this movie that I was shook a couple times. And I remember saying out loud at one point, no.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, all right. So I am absolutely going to pop The Green Knight.
Okay.
2021. I don't remember where we streamed it. I think we had to pay like $3.99 to rent it or something, but it was great.
Okay. I'm compelled. I will check it out.
Absolutely.
I love
watch it.
24
It's so good. And Dev Patel he's such a good character because it's like he messes up over and over again throughout the movie where it's like all these opportunities to do the right thing keep popping up and he just keeps like not doing them. And you're like, bro, come on. But it's a great movie. What about you, Liv?
Well, I have essentially a unspoilable show to recommend because it is based on Greek mythology.
Okay, so we already know what's going to happen.
Everything that's going to happen, but it just came out on Netflix, actually. It's called
I know what
Chaos.
You're gonna say. Yes.
And so it has Jeff Goldblum as Zeus, Janet McTeer as Hera, Stephen Delane as Prometheus, and just a whole host of different characters.
Awesome.
It is so funny. It's so good. I love Jeff Goldblum. I think he's only getting hotter as he ages.
Literally,
somehow.
What the hell, dude?
He's
what
just
a fine
like
man.
From Jurassic Park to today.
Life can find a way in me.
But he plays such a good job of like because Zeus in Greek mythology is known as like this like arrogant, like power hungry
ladies man
asshole, who just like demands respect and is like quite petty. And I think he gives the character like a lot of playfulness where you can still kind of like him, but he's an asshole. And, he's just kind of like a petulant child, ultimately. But it's so good. I binged it all yesterday.
I'm going to have to give it a watch.
I have 30 minutes left in the ending of it, but it's really good. And as you know, by us discussing all the books we read, we do love a mythology in this house.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
Of course, we're going to have to pop that one, but very, very good.
I'm going to give it a whirl. Cast. I've been saying a lot of good things about it. It's Chaos with a K, right?
Yeah, Chaos with a K.
Love that. I'm going to give it a try.
Yep.
I also finally started Iron Flame.
Yes.
Speaking of reading and stuff.
To our reading crews.
To our reading fans. Oh my
Yes.
God. I'm only 100 pages in, but I'm so obsessed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're excited to hear your thoughts.
Yes. I'm sure I'll finish it in
5 months.
No, dude, I got through Fourth Wing in really fast, like a week or two. So I'm gonna speed through it.
Yeah. I just gotta talk shit to you, so that way you'll read it faster.
Then I'll be guilty, be like, yes, mommy, I'll read.
It's like when your coach is like really mean to you, but it makes you work harder in spite of it.
Reminds me of the bear, like Carby's guy who's like, kill yourself, and he's like, yes, chef, God.
That's how I am with reading. Good to know. Good to know. Good to know. The literacy crew is going to come for me. Now it's time to reveal our plot twist. Shauna and I have been dead this entire time. This entire episode. It's all been a dream.
Ooh, what a twist.
We're dead and we're also in a dream. Dead.
A dead dream.
A dead dream within a dream within
a dream within a dream.
Yes. Just like Christopher Nolan would want it. And even though we're dead, we still want you to find us on social media. So, Shauna, let the people know where they can find your gorgeous face.
We might be dead, but we're still pretty.
Yes.
As Buffy would say.
Yes.
You can find me, Shauna Trinidad, at Shauna Trinidad on Instagram and TikTok. I always forget that I have a TikTok, but it's there.
Yeah.
Shaunatrinidad.
And you can find me, Olivia, on Instagram at Livy Maries, LIVIMARIEZ. And don't forget, you can find the Pop Culture Junkie podcast, social media links, and more on our website at popculturejunkie.com. From there, you can find our podcast on all platforms. Follow, subscribe, rate, review. Honestly, guys, the best way you can help us is to give us a 5-star review. You can also help us out by checking out our Patreon. Honestly, every subscription counts. And to help us bring you guys more pop culture, the best of pop culture every week. It really helps us out. So find us at patreon.com/popculturejunkiepodcast. Sign up for our uncensored content, and we promise to love you even more than we do today.
Which is a lot.
Yeah. And come back next week for another hit of pop culture. The Pop Culture Junkie podcast is produced by Jeff Markin and Cheryl Lightfoot for the Pop Culture Entertainment Network.